talking about the about the website on the county. When I took over as sheriff 16 months ago, the website for the Lake County Sheriff's Department was so outdated it was ridiculous. It was almost 3 years behind. It had not been updated. It had the wrong personnel, wrong names, wrong facts and figures. When I took over as sheriff, the sheriff of each county is in charge of the sexual offender registry. When I took over as sheriff, we had over 450 individuals that were unaccounted for, sexual predators, under his watch that he was supposed to be watching. Now, all he wants to talk about, and I'm here today to defend my friend Gerry Scheub. All his Gerry Scheub's opponent wants to talk about is garbage, garbage, garbage. Well, for 8 years he produced nothing but garbage on that sheriff's department. This is just totally ridiculous. He's out there filming in front of the Animal Control Center. Let me tell you about the Animal Control Center, what we've done. And I brought this up on my shows here before. In 16 months, in 15 months since we've been there, we have generated over $103,000 in income for the county. In 8 years, total of 8 years under his realm as sheriff, he only generated $101,000. When we took over the Animal Control Center, we found over 400 mice and rats in there. We took out 3 garbage cans full of dirty hypodermic needles, exposed, used hypodermic needles. We took out the food that had rotted, cages that were unkept. This is what, and he's standing out in front of our Animal Control Center yesterday, filming a commercial, talking about, what I've done for the Animal Control Center. This is ridiculous.
Okay, and I will get back to Gerry in 1 second, but now that you're on a roll here, it has been fairly talked about even on these airwaves and questioned Sheriff Dominguez's managerial acumen. Are you a little surprised that he's trying to go forward and become the commissioner with that record?
Let's talk about this. I mean, he wants to assume in office the executive branch of county government. That's bigger than the sheriff's office, all right? He couldn't handle the sheriff's office. How's he going to handle the executive branch of county government, all right? You know what we went through when we first came in. We took inventories on that sheriff's office, unaccounted weapons, unaccounted property, you name it, it was there. It resulted in 3 indictments. 3 individuals pled guilty. It was stated publicly in court testimony, in public records. The guns were being delivered to the front office.
You know what? I'm going to slow it down there a little bit. It's only a half-hour show today. I will mention that we're talking to Sheriff Buncich here about the former sheriff in context of the race where Gerry Scheub is running here. But Gerry is again here tomorrow, and I guess he'll have quite a bit more time just himself to talk about these things. But let's move on, Gerry.
All right.
We talked about transparency and no-bid contracts. Another big challenge in this campaign to you.
Well, it's the Drug-Free Alliance. When the Indiana Criminal Justice Commission stopped him flat for not complying with the proper spending, they shut him down, and there was no transparency there. But that was him with the Drug-Free Alliance, not in compliance. That's a serious situation. And that actually happened.
You want to comment on that, Sheriff?
Yeah, Drug-Free Alliance. Always, we started that back in my predecessor back in the 90s. Bob Stiglitz started that. That's a state-funded program to deal with alcohol and drug abuse, especially among the young. Lo and behold, we had that project going wonderfully when I left office. I take it back. I go back into office last year. It's gone. Why? Because it's cited by the State Board of Accounts, it's cited by the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, who funds that program. Mismanagement. They were giving out money they were not approved by the board as like they're supposed to. The board of directors of that organization. There's about 5 or 6 pages of the State Board of Accounts report that said that he had mismanaged that fund issued checks that weren't supposed to be issued, purchased items, purchased political advertising that shouldn't have been purchased with that. As a result of that, the Lake County Sheriff lost that program. It's been turned over to another private organization now, and that really hurts, because you know how I am about we're dealing with children and that, and Jerry and I were talking about that. That's an issue. Talk about that. Let his opponent talk about that. You know what I mean?
Let's move on to the ethanol plant.
All right.
Okay, that's been in the news a lot,
Yeah.
and you were an original supporter
Right.
of this plant. Where are you now on it?
Well, the board, this is not a county government agency. The Solid Waste Board's a separate agency with 27 members, and he keeps saying it's county that I'm responsible as county commissioner. I'm one member out of 27. One member out of 27. Yes, I supported it because it was jobs for Lake County, property tax money for Lake County. Jim, here's the plant right here. It's in operation in Florida. He has the patent to use, and he has all the permitting that will go to the state. And that plant is now just starting to operate in Florida in Vero Beach. But the thing is, the reason I back it is because Continental Electric, Morrison Construction, Superior Construction, 3 local construction companies are going to put 350 people to work, building trades people to work, $7.4 million in property taxes, $9.8 million in tipping fees, and 150 to 170 permanent jobs after 3 years when it's built. Now, you know what? I could sit in that office and do nothing. But I went out and tried to get a 21st century product for Lake County and give Lake County something to be proud of. Am I ashamed of trying? No. If it doesn't work, we're going to come back and do it again. Our obligation by the state statute is to find a 15-year waste stream solution. And we did. That's what we're doing. He says we haven't a plan. We've got a plan. We've had a plan. But these are the things now that I've got to come back, because he's just telling anything he wants that might stick to the wall. And I'm not ashamed of what I try to do in bringing jobs to Lake County, 21st century jobs. And that's what I've been trying to do. But the other night, it was 23-2 to give them 90 days to get their financing. You know, how long does it take the Ileana?
It's been a long time.
15, 18 years. How long's the Klein Avenue Bridge been out? 3 years already. These things, this is the $330 million plan. It's not going to be done overnight. They went in when the times were tough. Recession was here. Money couldn't be found. The Hammond Times is now in bankruptcy, right? They're having trouble finding money to reorganize. So, you know, there's some questions.
Yeah, Jerry, let's face facts too. Your opponent's out there telling everybody that you're wasting millions of dollars already and trying to get this project going. That's an outlaw.
Yeah,
that's a total falsehood.
We spent $160,000 to date with Purdue. Your university, Jim, Purdue University came up and did a study and says this project works. INEOS, the people that build that have the contract down in Florida, that product works. We had experts come in, and we spent $160,000, but that'll be reimbursed to the county taxpayers when this plant goes in. Our contract covers us on that money. We haven't spent millions, like he said. It's $160,000, and that will be reimbursed.
Okay, all right. I want to slow you up because I know you're going to cover some more of this tomorrow. But this is at the crux of a lot of the discussion here. The Solid Waste Management District. You're one of 27 people on that.
Right, and it's not a county. It's a separate governmental agency.
It's a separate governmental agency.
Nothing to do with county government.
Okay, and I do remember running into you in, say, 08 or something and meeting some of the folks that were restaurant in Maryville or so forth. Jim, come over, I want you to meet these people. And I believe I didn't really register at the time, and you were very excited about this at the time, and you have brought it to the Solid Waste Management District. Since that time, there have been other trash ethanol plants built, and the technology has been refined somewhat. But it has gone up in the original price, and that's been a little bit of the problem in trying to obtain financing. And there have been a number of stalls in the financing. Now, are you still confident that they're going to be able to get this done?
I don't know, but I would have been foolish not to try. You know, that's my job, to try to bring new jobs. He's criticizing me for trying to bring 21st century technology into Lake County and good paying jobs. But the thing is, there's a plant going in Reno, Nevada now. Waste Management is putting in $80 million to make ethanol. Every bit of ethanol that's made in this country goes to Brazil. We can't keep up with it. Corn has raised 400% in the last 4 years. Garbage, turning garbage into a commodity and putting the corn back in the food products and not in ethanol, that's a great opportunity for this country.
You know,
am I ashamed? No.
Yeah, Sheriff Buncich.